Record. Good morning, and welcome everyone. Welcome to the Women's Coffee Club. We created this club um, to provide a safe space for women to share and inspire each other and to learn from a different presenter each week. And this morning, we're so fortunate to have Kim Rackham to be sharing with us, chosen and dearly loved, but just such an amazing topic. So again, welcome everyone. So Kim, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself and then why you decided to choose this topic.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good morning and welcome, ladies. I am so very thankful that each and every one of you are here, and I hope to bring you some value. And of course, we'll have throughout the PowerPoint, I have a short PowerPoint that we're going to pause because I really want this to be something of thought and process. And I'm in an internship program. This is my second year with my church, but it is so incredible, the teachings that I'm learning from it. And a couple of weeks ago, and it was right around Valentine's Day, there was this topic on being dearly loved and chosen. And it just sparked a new joy in my heart to think on those terms. And I thought, wow, what if we all knew how dearly loved and chosen we are, right? We have such a purpose in this life. And I think that most of our lives, we squander it away. And so then I started thinking about our hearts and surrendering the heart of the woman who's feminine and then the masculine within us, right? And how we play a balance into that. So it's kind of segmented in different areas to get you first to think about how powerful we are, right? And then unleashing some of the areas that we may find ourselves in many areas of life, in situations and social programming, whatever that may look like. And then finally, like how we can balance all of that in today's world and use the tenderest, the most tender part of our hearts to do great in this world, right? Because all of us in this group, we are a catalyst for change, right? We are the ones that step out and show up. And we are exquisite in that, if you think about it. Most of the world does not know this. And so we're in a really beautiful place. So I want to share this with you, give you some thoughts about how you can encourage yourself and those around you to balance all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my PowerPoint presentation. I hope that you will like it. Let me see here. There is now, let me see. Let me know if everyone can see this.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And then we're going to start from the beginning. So a little bit about me. I am a women's coach. My business is Nourish Coaching, and I help equip women that are suffering from self-worth, inner disease, and empowerment so that they can live their truest, authentic, and fullest life. So, and I just love to be able to watch the transformation within the women that I help. So, and this is all for a greater cause, for the efforts of being able to coach women that are prepared, that have been trafficked, and to build homes and to support other organizations in that. It's been a cause for me, and to work with at-risk youth. So that is my true passion, and that's why I love what I get to do. So I'm a master coach in prosperity and mindset, and in healing with whole food health and nutrition. And so it's a double-edged sword when it comes to the mindset and the health of a physical being. And in that, they receive the empowerment and the energy that they deserve. So we can go out and do great things. Wouldn't you agree? So let's go and let's talk about dearly loved and chosen. So let me see here. I'm going to change my view here so I don't block anyone. Can everyone see the full screen? Okay, perfect. There we go. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about embracing your own unique superpower this morning. Let's talk about surrendering your heart to balance femininity and masculinity. Okay, so this is going to be we're going to talk about this for a moment. And then we're going to do a little quick exercise on this. So I looked up what dearly loved and chosen meant. And you know, I'm an advocate for the I am statements, like I am loved. And I got into the dearly loved. Like when you put the component of dearly into it, it is someone that is deeply cared for, and valued by others. Often it can be your family, it can be friends, it can be your partner, right? It means that they are cherished and appreciated for who they are, regardless of their flaws. And then chosen is someone that has also been selected or picked for a specific purpose or role. We each have that purpose and role. Maybe it's very, very clear to you, and maybe you're just starting out with trying to identify that. So it implies that that person has been carefully considered and deemed suitable for the job, the opportunity, relationships. It comes with imperfections, and the experience behind that, I think, is even more powerful for your journey. But when you go back to looking at being dearly loved and chosen, like it came originally from your creator, right? It's the creator of your being, your inner being. We're going to talk about that. So when we look at it from a creator's perspective, now I'm going to talk about biblically. In the Bible, because I was part of this internship that I am working with, I wanted to know more about that. That just struck something so deep within my inner being that I had to research. I had to do more. And so in the Bible, looking at this, it is often used to describe the deep affection. I want you to be thinking about this because we're going to take a moment and start thinking about what that looks like. A deep affection. Right? Not just that you're loved, but the deepest of your inner being. Start thinking about that he had for his people. We are his people, right? We were created on purpose for a purpose. So it's a term that conveys a sense of intimacy, tenderness, and commitment. And then the term chosen is also used frequently in the Bible, particularly to describe God's selection of certain individuals or groups for a specific purpose or task. So when you look at those together, you were so intimately chosen for a purpose and a task. I would like for you to start thinking about this over this moment and into this session. Like, what does that look like to be dearly loved and chosen from the creator of the universe? So in both cases, the meaning of dearly loved and chosen, they emphasize a special relationship that is with your inner being, your inner within, right? It was created specially for you. You're unique. So your relationship with the creator is unique to you only, but it has a purpose to share with the world. So it highlights the purpose and that you are loved so dearly and deeply and intimately. It also though implies the responsibility of what we have to reflect and honor that, and the privilege of being chosen and dearly loved, not only by your creator, but the energy that you entertain, that you give to the world, right? So with that, I would like for us to take just a moment before we get into the surrendered heart and write this. If you have a pen and paper, I would just like for us to take like 30 seconds and think about the statements dearly loved and chosen, and what that feels like authentically to you. Just kind of meditate on that for a moment, okay? And start thinking about it, because I'll tell you, for me, the experience has been so powerful. It has changed my inner world. And I would love more than anything for this time for you to start changing yours as well. So let's just take a few moments and think about that. Okay, we're gonna come back for just a moment. Is there like just 2 or 3 people that would like to share real quickly, and then we'll continue on with what you may have received from that? I know it was short, and that's something that you can continue on as part of a practice, right? But would anyone like to, okay, Val, I see your hand up. Would you love to share? I would love to hear from you.
Well, thank you, Kim. Wonderful topic. I love it. Anything that deals with love and heart, I just love to dive into it. And thank you for giving us the time to reflect on this topic. And what came to me was, I remember one day a friend of mine gave me this quote that says, when you know who's walking beside you, you never fear again. And that triggers in my, that opened my heart a little bit, and then I started diving a little bit more. And so by being dearly loved and chosen, I feel that I'm ultimately appreciated, because we're not perfect on this earth, and some people do not appreciate us for whatever reason, and tolerance that somebody else may have a different perception of you, of what you think you give out to the world. So knowing that that my soul deep inside is very much appreciated, valued, cared for, never alone, never alone. I never have, a feeling of loneliness. The people some people are depressed because they are lonely. They just cannot be just by themselves. But I think that when we entertain a relationship with the divine, then we're never alone, because we hear, our heart is wide open to receive those insights that we I love when Abraham Hicks talks about launching our rockets of desires. We launch our rockets of desires, and to be heard, and we are heard all the time, in due time. And it allows me also to, by being dear, loved, and chosen, allow me to be fearless but wise also at the same time, because I'm on this earth. And so decisions that I make at all level, especially, I think loved and chosen, that implies the relationship with others, well, first with self, loving ourselves and knowing that we are important. The movie, I remember, what was it, the Help, that said you is kind, you is kind, you is, and then she finished, you is important.
Good, you is important.
There you go. Thank you.
I love that.
Okay, so allowed to be fearless and wise at the same time, and feeling, the protection that I need to give me enough my boundaries also of what I can receive and interact with that, knowing that I have a divine component in my heart that I can rely on to, because I know I'm dearly loved and chosen.
Amen. Yeah, that was so good. I'll take one more person, and then we will come back to that. Okay, when we go into our time, our community time. So, is there anyone else that would like to take a moment to reflect? I see Benta. I'd love to hear your feedback, and then we'll continue on. But be thinking about that, and we'll come back to that. Benta.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kim. I too love topics like this. Because for me, I grew up thinking that I was separate from God. And for me, it is such a relief to realize that I am loved. I was actually having a conversation with myself this morning, not even realizing the topic that you're going to bring. I was looking at myself in the mirror and telling myself how I love myself. And that gives me so much power, and realize that I am also chosen, especially knowing where I come from, to be here in this country and to be learning to realize who I am, and to be sitting here listening to such things is such a profound feeling for me. So I know that I am loved and cherished. I am a precious jewel. And I always, like this says, be still and know that I am God. I've realized that. It's a knowing. Once you have that knowing, nothing will bother you anymore. You feel things, but you realize that you are not alone, like Valerie said. You are not alone. So many people talk about, I'm alone, but we are never alone. And I realizing that for me is such a powerful thing, and it's just driving me and allowing me to do the things I am doing and I'm supposed to do without worrying about what other people say, and just know that I am supported and I am loved. And I'm the chosen one to be here, because I have family members that don't have this opportunity. So I am so grateful for this, and thank you. And I learn so much from you all the time. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much. It honestly brings a tear to my eye when I hear this, because it's so empowering when you find that the creator, your creator from within, you have the same authority, right?
Yes.
We have that same authority. So if you think about that, and how truly loved, dearly, dearly loved, like it just struck a chord with me. And it's like, I have to share this. This is a responsibility because I was chosen, right? Yeah. It's a responsibility. So I hope that for one or more of you today, that you see how powerful it is for us to take our missions, whatever that looks like for you, to know that you're walking side by side to the creator, right? That you know that within we are so powerful, right? That just gives me chills. That just gets me so excited. Yeah. And I just laugh. So let's go on. Let's talk about the surrendered heart for a moment. So this is a statement that I put together, and I hope that it will give you some value. But the most beautiful thing a woman can wear is her confidence. But behind that confidence is a delicate balance between her femininity and masculinity. which when we surrender it, which everything comes from the heart, right? When we surrender our hearts to that balance, that is then and only then is what becomes our unique superpower, right? And wouldn't you agree? I just felt so powerful to be able to, that statement meant so much to me to be able to share. Because it is within us, the center of all love, which is the ultimate commandment, right? Is to love God, love your creator with all your heart, but also putting the oxygen mask on yourself, right? To be able to love yourself. Well, if you are the creator, if you are the God within, then that should be no issue. But we find it in our humanness, in our flaws. We're going to talk about that, right? And I know that as women, what has happened to so many of us is that we get into the areas of feminine and masculinity, right? And I'll guarantee you that as we look at this and we go through this, most of us have ended up on more of the masculine side because of social conditioning, because of experiences, because of something we were taught. It could be our culture that we came from, right? You think about this. So let's look at some of the attributes of feminine and masculinity. And what I'd like for you to do is write down those on the feminine energy side and the masculine energy side. And there's others, obviously, but these are the most common energies. I would love for you to write the ones that you feel that you're most dominant in. Those that really strike a chord with you, like, yes, that is me. And I'm sure that most of these you can relate with, right? But I'd love for you to put the feminine energy on one side and the masculine energy, because we're going to talk about balancing that and what that looks like for you. So let's just take a moment to do that. Just kind of look at these, jot down what comes to mind for you. I know for me, most of these are like, yes, this is me, and yes, this is me. But what really, if you look at the dominating side of each of these, what does that look like? Now, keep in mind as you're looking at these and you write them down, one of the areas I started doing some research on the brain, and it is a common misconception that it is believed that maybe you're more left brain or right brain. Essentially, that is not a truth at all, because the energies of feminine and masculine have nothing to do with the brainwaves at all. It actually has to do with conditioning and habits. So it's something that we actually create within ourselves, if you think about it. And for those that have been master classes or part of being in this group, I always speak of walking in the fruit of the spirit, right? Walking in love and kindness and patience, forgiveness, right? Those areas. And so when we look at our energies, depending on the experiences in life, maybe it's, and we'll talk about this a little more, maybe it's an area in which you work that you have to be more masculine. I know I can share a little bit of my story when we're done and why it prompted me to really reach out and to help others experience this. Okay, so did you get enough of this information written down that we can move to the next? Okay. So let's go on. So now that you've identified those areas that you may be more dominant in, and we'll talk about that in a bit, let's identify your own unique superpower. So what I would like for you to do is look at some of those traits of femininity and masculinity. Look back at what you wrote down and look at the strengths that you have around that. Like, how does it serve you in your business? Maybe if you're a business person, if you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're a professional, how does that serve you? How does it serve you in life in general and in your relationships? Because we all possess such talent and strength, right? So I'd like for you to just kind of think about that for a moment and jot it down, because usually the first thing that comes to mind is part of your superpower, right? You know that you're really great at this because you've been given that to create a purpose around, right? So also I'd like for you to check out your areas of growth because some of your superpower can actually be a growing period. Like, you know that you can tap into that, but you also know that you need to strengthen those areas, right? Especially if you're looking at something in business, you know that, wow, I'm really great over here, but I could do better over here, right? That has nothing to do with failure. It has to do with your next leading edge, like what I can do on purpose to create more strength in that area. And then in these habits or these traits, we find our personality and your strengths in your area of growth, in the feminine, in the masculine, because you have to have both, right? In order for us to sequentially or synchronize life. So yeah, what are the personality traits that stand out for you? And then finally, look at the unique blend between the two. Because maybe this is the first time that someone's come to you with this. Maybe you've heard this for, your 52nd time now, right? Maybe this is something you study weekly, and but maybe this is something new to you. And if it is, I encourage you to really start studying into it. You want to find your own unique blend, right? We're knitted so uniquely, right? I always say from the womb to the tomb. So in doing that, it's powerful to know who we are, right? Because when we know who we are, then our talents just supersede anything beyond what we could ever imagine, right? Okay. So next, once we find those unique superpowers, some of the areas that keep us playing small. And for my saying, my acronym is, we all know whose we are spiritually, but we forget who we are. I call it women hiding out, or we're hiding out, right? We play it safe. It's easy to play safe. Have you been there? Think about that for a moment. I know we all have, right? So let's uncover the blocks. So most people, I'm talking like 97% of people on this earth, they struggle to embrace this. And the more that I study on it, the more it excites me to be able to share this. We become out of balance. It's personal conditioning. A lot of it stems back from what you were taught as a child, right? And then all the experiences in between. And that's what creates the energies. And maybe it's the culture that we grew up around that's been keeping us blocked, that keeps us playing small, that keeps us as women hiding out. So with that, start thinking about like some of the areas that possibly you can be blocked. Like, what are the things that you just get really frustrated about, that's taking your energy? That's usually somewhere to start. That's your energy block. Okay. So let's start cultivating the balance in that. A lot of times, I know for me personally, I found myself being so masculine all the time. I was in business mode, taking action, just kind of this power driven person that I forgot who my heart, I didn't surrender my heart. My heart was not surrendered. it was starting to become callous. And I started realizing, I started praying about that, like, Lord, open my heart to all of life. Like, what does that look in the deep of the deep within me so that I can create that balance? And there's different ways that you can start cultivating balance. If you feel that you're out of balance, start looking to your heart first. Surrender your heart. And in doing so, some of the tools that I would recommend is meditation. I know that most of you here probably meditate on a daily basis. If you're not consistent, it will take you back to your blocks. It will take you back to the low-lying energies, right? So I highly encourage you to take in some meditation. I was listening to Joe Dispenza the other day, and I heard him say, if you're really good at meditation, meditate for 20 minutes a day. If you need it more, or if you think you're really good at meditation, meditate for an hour. And I love that. It was like, because I had not been totally committed to meditating every day. Maybe it's just 3 minutes for you, and that's all it takes. But whatever it looks like, I encourage you to meditate. And journaling, I'm an avid journaler. I journal every day. I very rarely miss a day. Because when we're writing the vision that comes from our heart or from life experience on some paper, and we're able to come back to that, when we're seeking that common connection with our inner being, when you're able to journal and visualize when you're meditating and journaling together, and to be able to go back to that and reiterate what that looks like for your life, you'll find that a lot of those answers are in the paper that we write. It's what we see on paper many times that your vision becomes very clear, right? So I highly recommend the journaling. Start with anything, any thoughts that come to mind. Don't overthink it. I have a journaling class. If you haven't been to one, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to bless you with it. Boundaries. We have to set boundaries. We have to start looking at our inner being. Are we being more masculine or more feminine? Think about the relationship that we have with others, whether they are our family or friends, business colleagues, business partners, people in general. Like, what are your boundaries in that? What are you willing to accept, and what are you willing to give away? And then with all of this comes communication, because not all of us are going to be in the same space. We're all very unique, right? And so when we start applying to be dearly loved, to be chosen, and balance the femininity and the masculinity in us, we're going to find that we may start speaking differently, right? We may be using our energy to interact and communicate differently with people. And then finally, embracing your authentic self. There's nothing more powerful than authentic you. When you start establishing the let go, the surrendering of your heart, balancing your inner femininity, that is so sexy, right? Confidence is sexy. That is the new sexy, I believe, right? But when you add that, your confidence, knowing that you're being backed because you're dearly, dearly loved, so dearly loved and chosen on purpose, for a purpose, that's when you start embracing your authentic self. You can look at the areas that come from the heart, right? Start cultivating the balance. And then you can start celebrating the successes. I always say that the smallest of wins are the greatest journey ahead, because all of our small wins create our bestseller in life. Yes. Embrace your strengths. Going back to what we talked about earlier, embrace your power strengths. What is it within you that you want to share with the world? And then from that, take that and grow and evolve in it. Take the time to find what skill set, what mindset, right? Part of what I see is that there will be a great mindset, but we fail on the measure of taking care of our own health, because our mindset is so clear to serve others, but are we serving ourselves? What I always ask, what is the scale of 1 to 10 for your self-worth? Right? Because I know for me personally, I am really great about serving others, but I put myself on the back burner, and I would say most of you would agree to that statement, right? Because we're nurturers by trade. And then finally, navigating relationships. So navigating relationships are so powerful, especially in a world today where there's so much brokenness. The last few years have showed us that isolation is the new normal. We have more overdoses, more suicides, more divorces, more separation than ever before. And my truest authentic self cries out to you and says, how can we help mend relationships? So you have the power now to see. I know that there's some powerful women in this group. That's what attracts me to come here every Thursday or almost every Thursday, right? And to be part of this community, because we can do great things. But relationships are everything. Connection, collaboration, community, relationship, the word itself is powerful. If we know that we are dearly loved and chosen, wouldn't you agree that our communication skills, we can apply that to others in our lives? We can look to the boundaries within ourselves. And then finally, we can collaborate effectively together or within ourselves. Yes. And so with that, I would like to thank you. And this is a quote that I just felt was so important to end with. Live your greatest life in the balance with your feminine and masculine energies, for it is the harmonious dance that you will discover the power and beauty of your truest self. So, Rennie, if you could go ahead and stop the recording so that we can have some community time. Thank you so much, ladies.
You need to stop the screen share, Kim. Okay. Thank you so much. That was so wonderful, Kim. My question is, how do you're talking about the balance between your femininity and masculinity, whatever here, and that we all have both sides. I know I have a lot of the masculine traits as well. But how does this relate with because a lot of the attribute you're talking about is like something that's come from within. But for people who have the insecurity of like looking at the outside world, the success comparison with others, instead of from within, because a lot of these that you were talking about is attributes that are within you. So like you need to be in that headspace where you're looking inside rather than the outside. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think with someone that is new, what sparked the whole topic of the title of Dearly Loved and Chosen is specifically that. Because when I look at the faces of people on this earth, And I'm not sure, for me, I have a value that I can talk with someone within a couple of minutes and know where they're at, primarily. Maybe not entirely, but I can get a gist to people. Can you relate to that? I see Sandra, like I can dial into people like within a couple of minutes and kind of know where their heart is. Most people are broken. We're all broken people, right? I mean, we all are broken. But from my experience, and I work with at-risk youth, I work with women that have been trafficked. So I work on a level with people that have been traumatized. I've worked with youth that have been trafficked. And when I see them, I see a pillar of that hope that is within them, but they don't know where to go. But if they knew that they were dearly loved and chosen, if you did nothing else but start right there, and then just let them know, just love on them. Like we have to be the change that the world wants to see, correct? We do. Because we know we have the experience and we have the knowledge. We're in a group here where I can honestly say most of you have some form of mindset knowledge that is greater than most of the world. Is that correct? We're a unique group. So when I speak this, and whether you're beginning in the mindset journey, because I have been, I mean, some of you, Sandra, I could bet that you've probably been in the mindset journey for years. Is that correct? I've only been in the mindset journey for about 7 years, but my mindset was always more toward, I say, walking in the fruit of the spirit, being kind, being patient. But I was in a world of masculinity. I was in management. I was an investigator around mostly men. Like the harsh reality of what I did in my government job, right? And being in management, I had to wear that tough. I was a single mom and I was a young mom. I was a mom. I had my son when I was 17. And so I know what it is to have to struggle. I know what it is to not feel loved at all. I know what it is to come up against people that do not have my inner best interest, but looking for what they need to get ahead. So, and I know like everybody's shaking, right? You know that, right?
Mhm.
But you also know that we can start with one person. It just takes one. I was at a grocery store a couple weeks ago. And the cashier, I would say she was late 20s, especially the younger generations, they are hurting like way greater than we ever could even imagine. And I was talking to her and she was just really, you could just tell like she could not comprehend having a conversation, a simple conversation. And I go, girl, you know that you are so dearly loved. And it almost makes me cry because she almost started crying. She had no idea. She did not know. And I thought, this is a test. I was in this study group for a reason. There's no doubt, because that is part of my calling, is to be able to help women to get into the deeper, deeper, deeper end of the deep. Because that tender little piece of our heart that started beating when we were so uniquely created, most of us have had a lot of scar tissue, right?
Mhm.
And so if we know this, then it is our responsibility as being chosen to go out into the world and just look at someone and let them know how dearly loved, because we don't know, I do not know what that transformation is going to be for that girl. I just know that somebody came because they cared enough to say, you are dearly loved. And she looked at me, she wanted to cry. And I thought, oh my gosh, if that's all I ever do in life, that's success. So I hope that helps, Rennie.
It does help. I see that Sandra and then Jeannie and then Sue. I'd like to hear
Mhm.
from those of you who haven't said
Yes,
anything.
definitely.
And
Yeah.
we'll take turns. Suzanne, I saw you too. So yeah, Sandra, go ahead.
This has been an absolutely beautiful presentation, Kim. And I am going to call it presentation because when I do my work, I'm never so organized. But who I have discovered, because you're right, it's been decades, is I'm just me, real me. For decades, I said, I just want to sing and dance. And I kept chasing for that.
Yeah.
And then I'd go down the rabbit hole of, well, I mean, people expect that, I look at this and I say, well, people are going to expect a really well organized. Well, I do organize, but I'm more of a person on the fly. And then I think, oh, well, I'm not supposed to be, so you go around all this bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not recorded. Oh,
No, it's good. No, I'm right there with you. I got tears in my eyes because I hear this all the time. Like,
yeah,
that person,
because that's
right?
what we do. But
Yeah.
the other statement you had was that they don't know.
Mhm.
None of us know. None of us really get down in. When we cross the veil, it'll all light up for us. But 98% of everything we do is for ourselves. Even you,
Yeah.
every one of you that are reaching out, serving,
Yeah.
we're not doing that for the good of everybody else. It feels good. It's
Mhm.
what we think we need for us.
Yeah.
So there we are, back to our 98% is still about us.
Yeah.
And as soon as we understand that, we can quit judging everybody else, because all of us are all about ourselves. That's who we know. As we dig inside and learn more about ourselves, where's our attention? On ourselves. Come on, get over it. Everybody, you and I, the whole world, 98% ourselves. And we move in where it feels good. And if we're feeling good, that spreads it out so they can get to feel good. So they're going to dig and root around in for the feeling good.
Yeah.
That's my take. But
No,
thank you.
it's
It's a
true.
beautiful presentation.
No, it's true. It's true. So true. Yeah, I feel really, really good and empowered when I'm able to help others.
There you go. So that's for you. If that didn't feel that good, you'd go off and do some of the other stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you,
It's all
sister.
about us. All about
It's
me,
true.
me, me.
So true.
Yeah.
Thank you. Jeannie, go ahead.
I think my takeaway is I've always known that there are givers and takers in the world, which is similar to what you have said. And I feel I'll go back to, yes, we're all, we do it all for ourselves, but I think we have to feed ourselves in order to give also. That if you give so much that you have nothing left to give. And I think a lot of people reach that point, and I know I have in my life at some point in time, then it's hard to give back to others. But I do think we're created here on earth to help people, to give to people, and to love people. And we just have to figure out how we can do that without draining ourselves and be able to give our true selves as a result of not draining ourselves of who we are. And that comes with age, it comes with confidence, it comes with life experiences. And I'm just retired and have been trying to figure out where my next niche is, because you get into a role, and mine was more of a masculine role, like Renee was when I was in IT. So it's a more of a management style role, and you get in to that role, and when you retire, it's hard to figure out where you are and where you need to connect and where you just really need to give. Something as simple as when I find that people just don't compliment people a lot anymore. And I think it's so important, especially with young people, to say, you look great today. Love your outfit. Your hair is great. You're such a confident person. And to give those signs out, because I agree with you, this generation, especially the ones coming up that have become addicted to social media and had to go through COVID, they have a huge void, and they need to understand that they're perfect the way they are.
That's right. I would like to just real quick, I know we only have a few minutes left and I want to hear, but that touch. So what I'd like for you to do is just in the chat, put a 1 if you had more masculinity on your chart, and a 2 if you had more feminine. I'm real curious because I can guarantee I already know the output. But
If you feel like you're, the time you reach my age, I feel like that
yeah,
I almost want to be a 0 because I feel like I'm more neutral and
that's good. No, that's
I'm-
actually good because that's the balance, right?
but I don't think that I was growing
Yeah.
up, but I think
Yeah, me
it's
either.
that. Okay.
Yeah. So
I think that's how we learn, though.
1.5. So
That's
you
how we
so
learn, though.
much.
We don't stay in any one space. That's the pendulum.
Mhm.
We learn, so we try the masculine stuff out, then we try the feminine stuff out, and when we
Yeah,
find
agree.
ourselves,
yes.
Yeah.
But that is the balance. That's and I think that when you know that you're dearly loved and chosen, you start understanding more of you within.
Mhm.
And in doing that, it starts cultivating that balance, right?
Yeah. We're gonna be a little bit over probably here. If you need to go, feel free to do so. Thank you, Jeannie. Jeannie and I were in IT management. We both serve in the same with the same organization in the past. But anyway, Sue, you're next. And then Suzanne, you're next after that. Go ahead, Sue.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I put 1.5 because I really do live my life in the middle of the two. I really can't pick. And I tend to be resistant when I'm told I have to pick. So I just can't. You know, I'm an interior designer. I'm a mom. I'm a foster mom. I'm kind of quite a blend. I might be on a ladder one day with a drill, and I might be, you know, playing with beautiful silk fabrics the next day. So I might be bossy, I might be just quietly listening. I'm all over the map, and I'm okay with that. So that's why I put the 1.5. And then I guess my biggest focus now is the youth too. I look around and I see so much sadness and pain in our young people. And yeah, anything we as slightly older women can do to support our youth right now, helping them find their center, helping them find their worth, I think is just so important. So I really, really love this topic. I appreciate all the time and thought you put into the presentation. It was just beautiful. It just warmed my heart. And this group is just warming my heart. So thank you, ladies. I'm so excited to be a part of it and hearing from all you extraordinary women.
Hang on. Thank you so much, Sue. So true. Thank you. Suzanne, you're next.
Yeah. Oh, I was listening the whole time. I was fortunately able to get on at work, and I heard the whole time. What a beautiful, beautiful topic that we were talking about. And yeah, chosen and loved is, I used to be very feminine, very second class to my brothers, and I just played that role. So that's why I put a 2 in there. I do feel that I have found the masculine when I need it, like when I need to move and when I need to deal with car issues and all those things. So that's where I shift back over to the guys when I need to. But I do feel very feminine. I feel like I was there fully for my daughters and not absent until they went to college, and then FaceTime helped. But that's that. As far as the chosen, once I discovered I was autistic, and that was a euphoric moment. There was not a moment of resentment. Went from comparing myself to my brothers to being on a completely different ladder, doing my own growth. And what a great thing to do is when you can stop being underneath the guys and come out and start climbing your own ladder. There's no comparison. You're on your own track. You're on your own progress of where you're going. And what a great feeling on top of that. So now I help other women do that. Is like, stop hiding behind whatever you think is stopping you. I'm here. And just last night I had a woman say to me who is autistic, wouldn't it be great if we could have our own businesses and work I said, there is a way. I'm going to set up a Zoom right now every Tuesday and Friday. Come on, you come on into the room. We're going to do our own activities. We'll keep it on mute with our own activities. We'll have a collaboration time. We'll have a social time every Tuesday, Friday. I said, don't keep hiding. Come on out. If I can do it, and I said this in my thing, if I can come out and go up to the top of my mountain, so can you. It doesn't matter if we're autistic or not.
There you
That's
go.
amazing, Suzanne. Great job. We ran out of time here, so we need to part real soon, but I'm gonna give it back to Kim. Before I do that, I just want to say that Arlene will be presenting next week about how to overcome fear and get unstuck. So please come back again. But Kim, I'll have you the last word to close this out.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Kim.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just so thrilled to be here. And thank you for sharing, your takeaways. So powerful. And I just feel that every moment that we are given a chance, Sue talked about it, Jeannie talked about it, like we are on the same page. Suzanne, each and every one of us has such a gift, such a gifting to give to others. And I would just say, just compliment that person in the store. Find something. I always try to find something when I see someone to compliment them, because that may be the only compliment they have received. Maybe not even today, but like in weeks or months. We don't know what other people are going through. But if we come from a place of knowing that we are dearly loved, I want you to grab hold of that, dearly loved and chosen. And I would love more than anything for you to spread that joy, to let others know what you have learned, right? Because that honestly is, I think, the greatest success that we could give back to society and to ourselves, right? Like Sandra said, to ourselves. It gives us even more confidence to move ahead in our journeys when we know that we've done good for others. Right? So thank you so much, ladies. So excited to see each and every one of you. Have an amazing week ahead.
Thank you so much, Kim. You're so amazing. And all of you for being here, for your participation and contribution.
Thank
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you all. See you next
Rainy,
week.
feel better, okay?
Oh, you know what? I wanted to say I do have a workshop that I'm going to be doing in a couple of weeks. I'll post it in here. It's going to be on this topic, even a deeper dive into it. So if any of you would like to come, I'll put my flyer in here once I get it done this weekend, and you're welcome to come join me and experience even some deeper levels of that.
Awesome.
Okay,
Great.
thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you
Bye.
all. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Feel better, Vinny.